Hey everybody, sorry for the delay. If you are here live, if you're here in the future, I apologize for nothing, but thank you for being here. So a little bit of a mad dash to be ready. Hopefully, I've set everything up okay. Hopefully, you can hear me. It's probably best you can't see me, to be honest, but yeah, I think my face is there. I'm sorry about that. Hello to those who are here. We're going to talk about Ahsoka episode or part 5, isn't it? And yeah, there's probably quite a lot to say about it. I was hoping to get a second viewing in before doing this, but that did not happen. I didn't really get a chance to write my notes, therefore, because I try and watch it first just to enjoy it as a fan, or try to, without having to stop and make notes, mental notes, physical old school pen on paper notes. Yeah, anyway, a few hellos. Floyd, can see you in the chat. Ross, hope you're doing well. Martin, Jane Flakes, Mr. Matthew Stokes, David McKay as well, and Chad Campbell is here. Yes, I am live. I hope I'm live. I really hope I'm live, Chad. No, it's because I was late, isn't it? And I apologize. There I am. Also, Anders Lay is here. Hope you're doing good. Jane Flakes, meanwhile, is definitely doing good. She's bubbling over with joy right now. Peter, from the world between worlds known as the Netherlands. Yes, please start the clock. 30 minutes is what we aim for. Chad, the stopwatch Campbell, it's his job to keep us there to that time. Regularly fails, I think it's fair to say. Chad, who drove 3 hours last night, or the early hours of this morning, to go and see episode 5 on the big screen, had a chance to listen to your podcast, Chad, with the AI opening, right? And also you and your pal that you were traveling with, and a few little Fox Pops from others there as well. I'm sure it was a great experience on the big screen. Anything Star Wars on the big screen, it's always an event, isn't it? Everybody's there, cheering, clapping. Yeah. I always find it a little bit dangerous though, because you get caught up in the moment, don't you? The atmosphere, the energy, the vibe, whatever. So then I think you always need a second viewing in those situations, just to make sure it wasn't the adrenaline that got you so excited about what you just saw. Right. We'll talk then about episode 5. I did say hello, didn't I? Good evening to you, Matthew Stokes. Matthew Stokes says good evening to all of you, everybody in the chat. Okay, so yeah, this series, I think it's I wouldn't say it's been particularly splitting people down the middle, but I know it's not for everybody. I can see Floyd has not seen Rebels. I've only seen a couple of seasons of Rebels. I don't find myself that confused. And I hadn't even reached the world between worlds, but I kind of knew enough about it from others to not be that confused. And to be honest, I think they dealt with the world between worlds pretty well, in my opinion, for those who don't really know it. It didn't go that deep into it, really. It was more like a prop, the world between worlds. Ross Jenkins, loved episode 5. We got Clone Wars, Anakin, and Ahsoka, and a snippet of the Siege of Mandalore. Filoni needs to do more episodes. Loved how he teased us with Vader. Yeah, that was really well done. The score as well, once again, really well done, particularly in this episode and during those flashbacks and during the World Between Worlds dueling between Ahsoka and Anakin. I can see Martin as well, also not really sure what's going on yet. As a Star Wars fan who has not heard of Ahsoka, I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan who has seen Clone Wars and Rebels, she is an integral part of the saga. That's the thing, the saga goes beyond the movies these days, doesn't it? Right then. But of course, yeah, I get that she may not be an integral part of the saga to a lot of people watching this, live action Disney Plus. But I think they're dealing with that pretty well, Sure, you're not going to feel much emotion towards Ezra, who's this guy who keeps getting mentioned. You're not particularly going to, apart from a few comments here and there, you're not particularly going to get what Thrawn's all about. But it has been explained if he comes back, war's on. War's back on, baby. Anyway, um, yeah, I didn't really get to write any notes, but I enjoyed it. I think episode 4 is still my favorite episode so far. 3 okay episodes to get started with. 4 I thought was a really good episode, and there's another really good one. I was talking earlier with Chad and Co about the lesson from Anakin to Ahsoka. For me, on first viewing, I never got my second viewing. I did feel it was a bit vague. Why can't these Jedi just come out and say what they mean, man? But it definitely still added a lot. It definitely still did a lot for Ahsoka because she leaves happier, with more hope, wiser, newfound resilience, I guess. Less of a Mardy bum now as Ahsoka the White, I hear. Is that what we're calling her? See, I never got to that bit of Rebels, but from what I hear, this might be a bit of Rebels retconning. Right. So yeah, it was definitely treated well. I think the flashbacks and Anakin's lesson. I just suppose for me, on the first viewing, it came across a little bit vague, and I guess in a way, I hope it maybe wished it could have been a bit more profound. But what I liked was that, and I know some people would have liked the whole episode to be with Anakin and Ahsoka, with maybe more dialogue than action. And I would have been down for that too, but I did like the way they managed to keep the overall story moving. So next week, we've got 3 episodes left right now. Surely there's a second season. Next week, it's going to be straight back into the action, but at least they're en route now to wherever it is where Thrawn and Ezra apparently are. So yeah, and I have to say as well, the CGI, we talked about that last week, and I didn't really mind it last week, I was saying, but this week it looked fantastic. It looked really good. In fact, it got better as it went on, and there were times when it was perfect in my eyes. And I liked I liked Hayden Christensen's performance a lot. I think it's probably his best performance as Anakin. 3 full movies worth, probably 15 minutes at the most here. His best. He had good material to work from, and yeah, he talked about before the Kenobi series that I don't know if he rewatched, but he definitely watched the Clone Wars in their entirety to sort of get more of a feel for Anakin beyond the Anakin he knew. And yeah, I think he did a really good job of bringing, I suppose, Matt Lanter's Anakin to life in this as well. That yeah, the Clone Wars flashback element. Superb performance again from Hayden, and I think he looked great, and he moves great as well. When you see him dueling with Ahsoka, again, okay, maybe not as fluid as circa Revenge of the Sith in terms of the production. He is a little bit older, but moving so good, and it felt so natural and right. So that was really all really well done. Again, maybe the lesson for me was a bit vague. I see Frederick here. The live or die for me is more of Anakin persuading Ahsoka to start living her life and not be bogged down by survivor's guilt. The survivor's guilt she's been having, blaming herself for Anakin and the Jedi's fall. Yeah, and I really like taking the time for interpretation, and I like hearing other people's interpretations as well. Yeah, I guess just a bit lazy. Sometimes just don't make me think, please, people. Yeah, and I never got my second viewing. Matthew Stokes, I can see as well. De aging looked much better in this episode. Let me just go back in the comments a little bit because I've started quite forward. Chad Campbell, to everyone thinking this episode was weird, it might require Rebels and Clone Wars. Both shows have really weird things. Filoni just does his live action like it's animation. Yeah, I did think that as well. The Purgils, space whales, and sort of communicating with them and getting inside a massive one of them to travel somewhere, hopefully, where we want to go. There was a lot of weirdness, but hey, it's all good weirdness. Weirdness that would make more sense, like Chad said, if you have seen Rebels and Clone Wars. Chad says this episode, or this episode has been really enjoyed by my three friends. Chad's three friends who have not seen. Oh, three friends who have not seen the shows. Not just his only three friends. I'm one of your friends, Chad. You got four. Why do I keep getting Evening All from Matthew Stokes? Or have I just gone back to it again? Because I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. Chad Campbell again. The episode has a 9.5 with 11,000 votes on IMDb. Same number of votes as the other episode. So it's obviously connected. Yeah, that's a pretty good score from that number of votes. I was late last week and didn't even realize Paul Lee was on. Ross Jenkins. Yeah. So Paul Sun Hyung Lee. Completely unknown to me. And I was actually talking about him, and then he suddenly popped up. Plays Carson Teva. Popped up in the chat on last week's stream when we were talking about episodes 3 and 4 in one. Teva was great again in this episode. He dropped the Senator Organa bomb, which was great just to have her mentioned. You know, it seems weird not to have these core characters, Han, Leia, Luke, at least mentioned. I know people have been talking about Kanan. Well, that's been done now as well. But you know, Han in this era, Leia and Han and Luke should be pretty active, right? So great to have that Senator Organa mentioned. It came from Carson Teva from Paul, and also he was really funny this episode, you know, and he almost represented in a moment, didn't he, those who have not seen Rebels, where he was a bit confused by the things going on around him, and also playing as a confused individual when the Republic fleet showed up and him pretending he didn't know who they were. That was great. He was brilliant in this episode, actually. And if you're watching, Paul, I'm not just saying that because you might be watching, because you did that last week. I'm saying it because I believe it. I'm saying it from my heart. Anyway, we've got our first score in already. Jones Capone, hope you're doing well, my friend. Jumping the gun there, but that's all good, baby. 10 out of 10. Frederick says, best Star Wars I've seen recently, made me tear at points with Hayden as Anakin. Loved how we see Ahsoka's personality transform too, not just her clothes. Yeah, that was really well done. And I know there were a lot of complaints about her, the acting apparently being wooden. But I think, it's kind of proven now and will be more proven, hopefully next week, that was all part of the act from Rosario Dawson there. Because, instantly she was just much more smiley, less of a Mardy bomb, you know, nicer person to be around, good vibes. It looked a bit weird about her headpiece. I found that really unsettling. I feel like if you only know me from my Instagram, it would be like if you saw me without sunglasses for the first time. It was really unsettling. And then she put it back on again when she came off the ship, and all was good. All was good. I felt calm. This Inferno, the reason why Ahsoka is in the world between worlds in episode 5 is because Ezra saved her from Vader at that moment. Ahsoka feels that she was close to death, as in that moment with Vader. So she sees the world between worlds. When Anakin tells her live or die, he means that Ahsoka shouldn't have given up because her master had turned evil. This was the reason why she could have died. Yeah. And also I think, you know, going through those flashbacks as well, it was, if you do give up, if you don't keep fighting, then you will die. That is the alternative. And, you know, we saw the really impactful scenes of the clone troopers, injured and dead around as well, which I think was sort of the first time that's really been kind of focused on that I've seen, and that you really sort of feel it and pause for a moment and consider those clone lives that were lost. But going back to the Clone Wars flashback, at one point in my mind, I was thinking Fog Wars, very foggy, very volumey. But I suppose this does not, you know, we have to, I think they did well with what they had. And what I'm saying, what they have is, you know, referring to budget. This is a TV show. This is a TV budget. So I think it looked good, all things considered, but kind of makes you want to see more of this with a movie budget, doesn't it? More Clone Wars live action. Okay. Where was I? I don't know where I was. Jane Flakes. I watched it on my sofa, cuddled up with the cat, the wife, and my best friend. It was still epic. Almost makes you sound like you're saying the rest of it, potentially could have dragged the mood down, the entire situation down. Despite the fact I was cuddled up with my cat, the wife, and my best friend, it was still epic. Yeah, Jones, it's fine, my friend. You don't need to apologize. All right. This Inferno is not finished yet. Sorry. In that duel with Vader on Malachor, this was also the reason why Ahsoka lost to Balin, because he made her remember her master's dark legacy. Yeah, he did say your legacy is death and destruction or something, didn't he? When Ahsoka and Darkseid Anakin are fighting, it's literally a continuation of Ahsoka versus Vader on Malachor, and Ahsoka can finally fight for her life without being ashamed of her legacy. That's why Anakin approves her and leaves. He completed her training. Yeah, I've seen people complaining that Vader lost, and why would Vader or Anakin lose to Ahsoka? I don't believe he lost. I believe that was all part of the training. He allowed that to happen. Peter, well, one should be a bit of a Star Wars geek to get everything in the episode, and this channel, of course. Yeah, you know what? Like, even things that I apparently am well read on, the original movies, there'll still always be things that I miss. Mandalorian, we all kind of went in on an even playing field. And I still think that's one of the best new entry points to Star Wars that you can sort of dip into, and 99% of it will make sense to you. But there will always be something that we miss. That's why there's great people on YouTube, not me, who do those Easter egg videos and explainer videos and things. Ross Jenkins, Ahsoka is definitely integral to Star Wars. Bear in mind, she was created by Filoni under Lucas's watch. The first 5-6 seasons were till salt. I don't know what you mean there, but yeah. Oh, the first 5-6 seasons of Rebels. Anyway, I think I read that one from Frederick. I did, yeah. Matthew Stokes, not saying good evening all, saying de-aging looked much better this episode. If I've missed anything, really important, copy and paste it back in. Jane Flake, Sith, Anakin, oh my, it was almost enough to turn a girl straight, but not enough. Hayden channeling Matt Lanter's tone of voice too, yeah. Also, Chad Campbell thought the de-aging looked much better. Carson shrugged when he was told about Jason. Yeah, great performance from Paul. Are you watching, Paul? Loved Carson Tever's reaction when Yuang was explaining Jason's Jedi abilities. Yeah, and Yuang's reactions to Jason's, are you going to build me a lightsaber? Are you going to train me? No. They were good as well. Jason's been dealt with quite well. When I first saw him, I thought, yeah, you're going to be annoying, aren't you, mate? But actually, no, dealt with him quite well. And there's a lot they could do with him moving forward as well, of course. My friend, I can never say this name, but Tigrillo Customs in Costa Rica. I hope you're doing great. We've got another 10. Well, 10 plus, actually, for this episode. Chad Campbell, my friend, completely predicted the episode almost perfectly on the podcast this week. Go and check out Chad's podcast, Star Wars Lunch Special. I think I said lunchtime special, lunchbox special over the years. It's one of them. And yeah, you had the AI intro. I heard that. Jones Capone, yeah, we know you gave a 10, but never done before. This was the best Star Wars since the infamous Vader's Hallway, Rogue One, in Jones Capone's personal opinion. Let me pause for a moment. Thank you. All right. Working my way down. Frederick, fog was probably an effect of it being sort of a memory too. Yeah, I think it was maybe, yeah. But I think part of it is just to make things feel, I suppose, claustrophobic within a big environment. And the volume is not a big environment. And they wanted to make that feel as big and busy as possible. And there's only so much you can do with that in the volume, in terms of having extras in there as clone troopers or actors as clone troopers. There's only so many you can fit in. So I think the fog is to sort of make things feel bigger in a way, even though you're showing less. Chad Campbell. I will say my initial reaction to this episode was embraced by the big screen. Something about seeing all of that in a completely dark room surrounded by cheering fans can just alter a moment. I'd like to know as well, we've just talked about, I talked about, it was me that said it, I'm going to own this. The Clone Wars flashback did look a bit cheap, a bit TV, but it's completely understandable. How did that look on the big screen? And also, we're talking about, you did say that the aging looked really good to you, Chad, didn't you? I'm wondering if cracks were showing perhaps on the big screen with that as well, because it looked great to me on a very medium-sized screen. David, Anakin Vader wasn't trying to beat her. He was trying to teach her not a lesson, the lesson. Yeah. I never thought that he lost. She won. Jane Flakes, I don't think it was Anakin. It was her trials. So it was a forced representation, something she could relate to. Somebody said that in one of the trailers, which I did not see or hear, there's more dialogue of Hayden, new dialogue of Hayden's as Anakin that we did not get in this. So might not have just made the cut, simple as that. Or is there going to be more? Which would mean she kind of have to almost die again. All right, which is possible, I suppose. Mando season 1 is great. I agree. Matthew Stokes says, good evening all. And Anakin versus Ahsoka lightsaber battle was an excellent moment. I agree. Anders Lay, get the scores in, guys. Why not? We've had a couple of 10s already. We've got the lowest score of the night. Lowest score. It's come from Anders Lay. It's a 9.75. That is the lowest. Oh, no, I can see a lower one. And it's come from Glenn the Geeky Hippie. 8.9. That's the lowest score now. 8.9 out of 10. Oh, sorry. You say sorry. I say sorry. First 5 or 6 seasons of Clone Wars Lucas oversaw before he sold Star Wars to Disney. Okay, sorry. So Ahsoka is definitely integral to the universe. Yeah. I think I've caught up with the comments. Matthew Stokes wonders who was in the Vader costume. Yeah, I mean, could it have been? So I think Hayden in Kenobi, obviously, when you see the helmet partially off, obviously that's him. And I think there was a lot because there was 2. Demetrius, who came on the channel, and the other guy, I can't remember his name. Yeah. So there was a lot less of Hayden in the suit in Kenobi than people expected or people wanted. Some people refused to believe that fact, but it is a fact. Yeah, I wonder who was in it too. I have a feeling it would probably be the other guy, and I feel terrible for not remembering his name. I've got a feeling it would more likely be him than Demetrius, but I don't know. To check the credits, I guess. Jones Capone would love to have seen some battle droids in the battle scenes and perhaps see Tamora's face as one or some of the injured clones. Yeah, just got the voices. He is credited, I believe, as Captain General Rex. We got a 10 out of 10 from Frederick. Would give it an 11 out of 10 if Nick Gillard choreographed the lightsaber duel like he did for the prequels. Yeah, but it almost felt like he did because Anakin looked, was definitely using those moves. Hayden was, it seemed to me. 10 out of 10 from Clays as well. So was it 8.9 the lowest score? Yeah, 8.9 is the lowest score we've had so far. I want to hear your scores, people. Well, the kid's gone now, Peter. Not sure I'm happy with the kid dragging around in Star Wars, whether it's Jason, Kiddo Leia, or Grogu. And before I forget, no, I'm not saying it. The kid's gone. I think the kid's gone, mate. I will see the kid again, but he's not gone on the adventure anyway. Oh yeah, sorry, Jane. Jane is not scoring this series. However, words. Last night we had tears, love, and joy. This series is wonderful. Ross Jenkins, Hayden loves getting into the Vader suits. I wouldn't be surprised if it was him. Yeah, and I think for the shots they used, they could have used him, and it wouldn't have shown up. as somebody not tall enough, not well built enough, etc. Chad Campbell, I think when it first went back to Clone Wars, it looked like Kenobi did, just obviously hindered by the volume in what should be more epic. Yeah, and it's money, isn't it, at the end of the day? Why Kenobi didn't have a bigger budget, I don't know. I do feel like that was a missed opportunity, in a number of ways, but, including production values. No reason why that should have a smaller budget than Andor. I think it had. And Andor, it shows. Andor looks like a movie. It looks beautiful. It looks amazing. I might be wrong there, but I've got a feeling Kenobi did have a smaller budget than Andor, but then less episodes. I don't know. I don't care. It's all good. There's the lowest score. I agree, not as good as last week. Lowest score is a 7.5 from David. Great episode, not as good as last week. Okay, Tom O'Connell, that's it. Yeah, Tom O'Connell follows me on Instagram. Name dropping. Vader body double dropping. So he's only ever seen me in sunglasses. Tom O'Connell, yeah, that makes more sense. I don't know the ins and outs of the Demetrius situation, but I got a feeling. Yeah, I don't know if he's on. I think Tom O'Connell's on better terms anyway with the crew, but that's me just speculating publicly. Are we scoring? Yes, we are scoring. Chad, 9.5 out of 10 from Chad. 9.2 from Matthew Stokes. So the lowest score so far is a 7.5. Will we get lower? Peter is on the stream, so anything's possible. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to. I like the what you have to say is a Return of the Jedi reference when Ahsoka says, "I will not fight you," and Anakin says, "Oh, well, I've heard that before." It has to be a callback to Luke in Jedi saying, "I will not fight you, Father." Also, I got Empire vibes twice during the episode. One when they were searching for Ahsoka in the sea, searching for Luke, Cloud City. And also at the end, when you have Ahsoka inside a whale communicating to Hera, and something along the lines, "We will find Ezra and Sabine, I promise." I had also Empire. I got Empire vibes from that as well, with Lando and Chewie and the Falcon promising to Leia that we will find Han as well. Also, I wanted to mention the actor who plays young Ahsoka. I don't know her name, but I wanted to just say how well I thought she did too, because not only was she playing a young, iconic Star Wars character for some Star Wars fans, but also she was playing the old version of that character, older version, trapped in the young version's body, right? And she did that really well because it did feel like the old version trapped in the young body. So that was a great performance. Well done to her. And yeah, I hope we see some more actually of that, of her. Right, okay. 1 minute remaining. Okay, well, we're almost there. We're doing scores. We're almost there. So 7.5 is the lowest so far. Here's Leona Power Droid Girl. I loved 5. It was no Rick's Road and certainly no One Way Out, but it was a great cinematic and emotional audition for Filoni's future movie. 9 out of 10 from Leona Power Droid. Yeah, and you mentioned Andor there. I do feel, is it Geneva O'Reilly, modern Moff actor? I do find it a little bit jarring in a kind of fun way when you see her pop up in these shows or this show, when you're used to her now in Andor, and the difference in style and quality of writing is just so different. Yeah, kind of jarring in a way, but fun. My word, I do not believe what I'm reading here. Peter is giving it a 9 out of 10. Peter, were you here last week? I don't think you were. What was your score for last week's episode? I want to know. I am very shocked. Very shocked. I do not think I will recover from this shock. I don't believe it. 9 out of 10 from Peter. Historically, low scores all round, everything. Lowest score we've had is a 7.5, which is a very high low score. James Capone in Suit Vader could be entirely CGI, to be honest. Yeah, I wondered that for a moment, but Tom O'Connell, as I think Mr. Matthew Stokes confirmed, is credited as Vader performance artist, and he was in the suit for a lot of the Kenobi scenes as well, particularly the action ones. Jane Flakes, I suspect that this series is going to leave us wanting more because it will lead to the films. Yeah, I asked the question, do we know if this has got a second series the other week on the stream? And I know somebody said that Rosario was asked that in an interview. Well, of course she was. And she was hopeful that there would be one. But yeah, I guess if it didn't do well ratings-wise, fan reception-wise, well, it's never going to do well in 100%, is it, in that category? It's always going to be 50-50. Then you've always got the movie to tie up any loose ends, but I'm sure there is room for a second season before the movie as well. Jane Flakes, the flashes to Vader were gorgeous. However, I have a love for Vader. His story is truly heartbreaking. Padre Girl, round of applause for the costume department for the Clone Wars attire. Bang on, baby. Ariana Greenblatt from Frederick and David. She was young Gamora and the kid for Barbie. I saw Barbie the other day. Which kid? Oh, the kid. The kid of the mom, right? Who works for Mattel. Man, yeah, okay. Yeah, she's good. Not sure if I'm more shocked about that or Peter's score, but anyway. Ahsoka Starship inside of the whale felt very much like the Falcon inside the space worm. Yeah, that too. Yeah. Whenever I don't recognize an actor, I always assume they're Gary Oldman in makeup. Or you can now say Colin Farrell as well, couldn't you? Because he was in the Batman, right? Wasn't he? I wonder if Jason will join Luke's new Jedi Order. Yeah, if you like. If you don't like him, you gotta hope that. If you do like him, you gotta hope not that. All right. Last week was an 8 out of 10 from Peter. Get your scores in, everybody. We're going to be wrapping up in just a couple of minutes. Frederick, only 2 things really bothered me, but might be nitpicky. Hey, that's pretty much 99% of Star Wars YouTube content. The New Republic pilot who dove in the water didn't have any breathing apparatus for a water rescue, and the exposed like face line of Ahsoka. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. That was very off-putting. I was troubled by that. I'm still troubled by who's looking after the loft cat, Sabine's cat, who's feeding it. Not sure about Hera's parenting skills, bringing a kid out to a potentially very dangerous situation, although it did pay off, and maybe she knew that because he has got a little bit of Jedi in him. Peter was traveling in Taiwan last week. Hope you had a good time, mate. Yeah, you're right, Chad. Well, actually, I'm in the future here, and it's more than that. 9 out of 10 from Ross Jenkins. I would have loved to have seen more Siege of Mandalore, Ahsoka dueling Vader to make it 10 out of 10. Yeah, I guess we're done with the dueling now, but there may be more from Anakin at least. Who knows? I think now they're just going to keep finding ways of bringing Hayden back. The way he looked in this, you could really use him well. As long as you're not just shoehorning it in for the sake of it. It all looks good. Ross, I like Jason so far. I just think it would be another good tie-in to the sequels to improve them. Gaz Nottingham, 9.5 for episode 5. I loved it. So 7.5 was the lowest score. What did I give last week? An 8? Or an 8.5? I can't remember what I gave last week. I feel like this is an 8 or an 8.5, but I could give it the same score as last week. I'd still need to give this a second viewing. This one really needs a second viewing for me. What did I give last week? Does anybody remember? They could not do that to Hera. She's already lost Kanan. To lose Jason too would break her. Well, she might be losing her job. Right. I'm going with an 8, but it could be an 8.5. Could very well be an 8.5. Yeah. second best episode of the season so far for me. Still like last week best. I think these are two fantastic episodes after three. Oh, okay. Good episodes, fine episodes. And yeah, there's a lot still ahead. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And there'll be 3 episodes now that, there's no room for side questy things. Not something I don't think this has been. We've had MacGuffins, but not something I don't think this series has been guilty of. But yeah, looking forward to what's to come. So next week, I will be in Lima. I fly on Wednesday, so I'm probably not going to see the episode till Thursday, maybe Friday. And I'm working out there. So I don't know what day I'll be able to do this next week, but it will not be Wednesday for sure. It will most probably not be Thursday. Small chance of Friday. If not, I'll try and do it over the weekend. It may have to be one on my mobile, just like sort of out and about on a break from work or something, but I will make it happen because, hey, only free to go. So yeah, we'll talk next week for sure. Thank you, everybody. Sorry if I've missed anything. But hey, it sounds like for the most part, people enjoyed this. And I mean, maybe I'm more switched off to Star Wars online stuff and online stuff in general at the moment. But I know there is negativity out there, but I feel like there's a lot less of it. And the negativity that is out there is a lot less angry than normal. And, a lot of it is well placed. You can be negative towards something, but it's how you sort of project that negativity and positivity too. You can be overly positive and attack people for not liking things as well. But yeah, I feel like there's less aggro out there, which is nice. Yeah, long distance. It will be long distance. I don't know which day, like I said, but it will be long distance. Yeah, maybe it will come down to I'm away for 2 weeks, so then it would end up being a season finale stream. So let's do it next week, because actually the week after, sorry to bore you all with my schedule, the week after I will still be in Peru, but I think I'll be on vacation. I'm taking 4 or 5 days off at the end before coming home, and a friend from Mexico City is flying out to see me. Only a 6-hour flight, and we're doing a bit of traveling in Peru. So yeah, actually, it's better I do episode 6 next week, because potentially episode 7 will be a double header with the finale, potentially. So next week it is, but I don't know which day. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you're all doing good. I hope you all have a lovely evening, rest of the day, wherever you are on this planet Earth that we reside upon. Yeah, take a Purgle there. That would be nice. That would be nice. Yeah, it might be quicker as well, because it's a long old journey, this one. I can't talk about Rebels. I haven't finished it yet. I won't be finishing it before Ahsoka finishes either. All right, I've gone well over. You're right, Chad. All right, okay, we're going now. I'm going to click end broadcast. No, it's end stream. And thank you, Leona. We'll talk. We'll keep in touch. But thank you, everybody. Take care. Stay safe. I'm clicking end stream. Didn't it used to be end broadcast? Have they changed that? I don't know. I'm waving. Are you waving? Because I'm waving. Goodbye, everybody.